Okay, before this video starts, I just want to say that this isn't going to be a video where I slap this guy's claims as if he was totally wrong. No, I mean no disrespect to this guy. In fact, it's the complete opposite. At the time of me recording this video, if you type in "How strong is Medaka" into the YouTube search bar, 3 videos come up. 2 of them are mine, and 1 of them is his. I have mad respect for this dude for making a Medaka box power scaling video, because there was a desperate need for them. This guy's video wasn't poorly made or completely wrong either. It's clear he did his research, and he even said a few things that I purposefully left out of my videos. This guy knows the material, and I got mad respect for that. However, there were a few things that he said in the video that were a bit questionable, and I just want to go through and correct a few of the things that he got wrong. I mean no disrespect to this guy, and I don't want you guys to send any hate his way because of this video. Quite the opposite, in fact. I'll be putting a link to his video in the description, and I'd urge you to watch his video as well as this one. With all that squared away, let's get on with the video.
For the purpose of this plan, students are divided into 13 different classes. Class 1 meaning there's nothing extraordinary about the student at all. Classes 2 through 12 mean that the students have some sort of like abilities, such as like a superpower, or they're super strong, they can run super fast, stuff like that, like the casual stuff.
They don't necessarily have superpowers. Students from class 2 through 12 are considered specials in that they are prodigies in a certain field. Akune and Nabeshima, for example, are prodigies in judo, and Kikaijima, as well as the rest of the swim team, are prodigies in swimming. Specials don't have an abnormality, they're just stupidly good at something. They could be seen as abnormally good at something, but that's about it.
Medaka comes from a very overpowered universe, and because of this, she's able to be thrown into discussion for most powerful characters in fiction.
Just to clarify, it's not the most overpowered universe in terms of attack potency and destructive capacity and stuff like that. Rather, the hacks and abilities in the series are extremely powerful and broken, and plenty are capable of reality warping. I'm not disagreeing with the statement, I'm just elaborating a little on what I assume you meant by the statement.
So, her speed feats, when it comes to like speed and stuff like that, most characters can move at the speed of light, so the stuff you guys are going to see is going to be like pretty like typical when it comes to stuff.
I don't know if you're talking about in fiction in general, or in Medaka Box, but light speed movement in Medaka Box is kind of questionable. There are a lot of statements, but they're kind of iffy when it comes to the scaling. I talk a little bit more on the scaling of Medaka's speed in my first 2 Medaka Box videos, so I'll put links to those in the description if you want to hear more about it.
She moved so fast, she created a room full of after images to pickpocket the cigarettes of some students.
I've already scaled this speed to be around subsonic levels of speed in one of my previous videos.
She broke the sound barrier using Kurokami Phantom.
You could argue that she broke the sound barrier way before she used Kurokami Phantom. In a previous video, I scaled her bomb speed feat to hypersonic, so she could have easily breached the sound barrier before that. In fact, Kurokami Phantom should allow her to reach a speed far greater than sound. I'm working on a more in-depth video on Kurokami Phantom, so I'll explain it better there.
And she created a clone in front of herself through sheer speed to break the sound barrier exponentially, and she was also able to 180 while doing this. Now, okay, she was using, like, I believe the Kurokami Phantom, and originally Medaka could only go straight doing this move, but she was moving so fast that she broke the sound barrier, created a clone in front of herself, and was able to bounce off the air in 180 and hit the opponent.
This was a specific form of Kurokami Phantom called Kurokami Final. By sending out after images, she reduces air resistance and creates a slipstream for significantly higher speed without damaging herself. Medaka can only use Kurokami Final in End God mode.
Okay, now we got 3 of her punches destroyed armor that could withstand just about anything.
Unzen's armor can't take just about anything. When he said just about anything, he was more so referring to anything normal or special students could throw at him. Snow White is made of Ariadne, and each thread of Ariadne can withstand 5 tons of force. You can look at this 2 ways. Either Snow White can handle 5 tons of force at max, or it can handle slightly more since the threads are interwoven. Either way, Snow White can't handle force massively over 5 tons.
And then, alright, for her last strength feat I have, she took groups C and Z to restrain her. And this is like 2 groups of like these super like abnormal boys and stuff like that. And both these groups are full for like 8 to 9 people. But this feat is actually takes place before the tug of war feat and stuff like that. So obviously 8 to 9 people, 2 groups of like it taking almost 20 people to fucking hold her back. I mean, that is impressive in itself, but I mean, we see that all the time like anime.
This feat is really wonky. There's no real reason she should be having trouble with them, especially since she's in War God mode. The first time she uses War God mode, she pulled a building apart with her bare strength, so there shouldn't really be any reason those few people could do anything to hold her back. I don't really get this scene, but I thought I should point it out to prevent any downplay.
The woman behind her that was holding the baby, she kicked this baby with like full force, did no damage to the baby whatsoever, but the lady or the nurse that was holding the baby just felt it all. She felt it all in the chest, you know what I'm saying? And then after that, she beat the same lady she kicked. That same lady made 640,000 clones of herself, and Medaka won with a broken arm.
It wasn't the same person. The person from the baby feat was Johto, the lullaby style user, but the lady with the clone style, I forget her name at the moment, is a completely different person. Johto has no skill with combat and relies solely on her style. The only attack she ever used was when she assaulted a 13-year-old Medaka with machine gun fire. When the time came for hand-to-hand combat, she covered herself in babies to avoid fighting. She has no fighting prowess whatsoever. The second girl, however, was capable of swapping hands with Medaka and arguably outspeeding her in combat as well as punching her through a wall. They are 2 different people, and we even see this later on in the Eco fight as well as back in the Delete Shiratori game.
And then she trained to be mind control resistant, so she can't be mind control. So like genjutsu and shit like that wouldn't work on her. So that's pretty cool to know.
It's possible Ono wasn't really trying in this scene, like he was suppressed or something, because Zenkichi's here too, but later on in the arc he's affected by weighted words anyway. It's still resistance, but not a super high level. Also, weighted words isn't mind control. Ono manipulates the electrical signals in the brain and body and takes control of his opponent's body. By intercepting the signals in his opponent's brain and changing them, he can make them do whatever he wants, regardless of if they want to do it or not.
Okay, she went to destroy the moon. Alright, she destroyed the moon, survived, but she got back later than she wanted to because she saved a lost alien life form, fought against an evil king from another universe, and got involved in a war between the concepts of light and dark. All of this delayed her return to Earth. Bro, she was upset because she had to go through all of this. All of this happened when she went to just go destroy the moon. All this was happening. And she came back.
I touched up on this in my last Medaka box scale, but it's impossible to know if these statements are true or not, and it's impossible to scale them. Compared to every other feat she has in the series, even if this turned out to be true, it would be an outlier.
Then we have the second stage of War God mode, Altered God mode.
Each one of Medaka's modes is a unique mode. They aren't inherently ascending like the Super Saiyan forms or something. Each one is their own thing.
Honestly, I believe that War God mode is like her Trump transformation. Like, it honestly can scale above all of these.
War God mode is her first mode and the most iconic, but I wouldn't call it a trump card. Also, War God mode isn't the strongest mode she has. It's weaker than End God mode and arguably Altered God mode. It gets a little more viability later in the series because it makes her immune to styles, but it's not the best.
For this long video, the characters literally admit they can't beat Medaka because they're in the world of Weekly Shonen Jump where she has the power of being the main character. They literally broke the fourth wall and tell you that they're in a manga and that since she's a shonen character in a shonen published title, she won't lose because she has plot armor. She's a shonen character, and since she's in a shonen magazine, she'll be considered the main character, so she won't be able to lose.
To be fair, Ajimu also had simulated reality syndrome, and she thought life was a manga. It's really confusing since technically she's right, and she has a few abilities to make that true even if it wasn't. The entirety of the arc was really confusing because of the simulated reality thing. I'm not saying that this point was wrong, there are just multiple ways to look at it. And I think that's about it. There's not really much more I need to clarify or correct. He did a really good job. The information was really well put together and he went over a bunch of stuff that I left out of my videos. I just thought that there was a few things that I needed to touch up on. thank you guys for watching. I hope this cleared up a few things. This was a very lighthearted video. I'm sure the title might have come off as a little aggressive, but I wanted this video to be more friendly and informative than anything. I'll put a link to the original video in the description so you guys can go check it out for yourself. I highly encourage it. I'll put links to my first 2 Medaka power skills in the description as well. Also, Knight iMaster, if you're watching this video, like I said, I mean no hate or disrespect. I just feel that since there are so little Medaka box skills on YouTube, it's my responsibility to make sure there is as little misinformation as possible. You understand, I'm sure you agree. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching the video all the way to the end. If you have any ideas for future video topics, please be sure to let me know in the comments. Like the video if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you want to see videos similar to this one. I am your goddess, Crimson Reaperess, and I'll see you next time.